All my accounts on Meta were recently blocked. I've been suspended for the ambiguous reason of not following community guidelines after being on Facebook and Instagram for decades. It also says that I will not be given another review of my case, even though there was no review of my case. I was not ever able to appeal or request a review. There is also no way, or it's very difficult to find a way to get in contact with anyone that can help in any way. Okay, so let's review. I've had profiles where I've kept pictures, I have contacts lists. Embarrassingly, it's probably at this point the majority of my social identity and social contacts was Facebook, which I've had for 2 decades, and Instagram, which I've had for maybe a decade. Messages, contacts, carefully curated content. This is like a house going up in fire, and my photo albums being burnt, losing my contacts list, losing my phone, and not being able to retrieve my contacts list, so on and so forth. But the biggest piece is this actually threatens my livelihood. I use Facebook Marketplace to rent out my rooms, and I've tried many alternatives, and it is the only effective method that I've found. So I actually may end up going bankrupt. Let's break this down. I was suspended from Facebook and Instagram with no real explanation, no chance for appeal or review. I'm powerless, and this is not only painful sentimentally and socially, but this could financially ruin me. Okay, on the one hand, we can spend time hating Meta, hating Facebook, Instagram, social media in general. That's certainly an option. But one of the most important takeaways for me in this whole experience is related to powerlessness. Serenity prayer, right? We need to recognize what we have the power to influence and affect and what we really don't. Meta or any of these online virtual things really can kick you off for no reason, and there's nothing you can do about it. So how much should you trust, or rather invest, on those platforms? This has taken me down a bit of a rabbit hole, honestly, because a lot of our world is virtual, and even beyond that, imaginary. So, for example, these houses that I supposedly own, right? The documents that exist are mostly virtual at this point, right? My bank accounts, mostly virtual, right? I don't have very many real-world assets that are really in my hand. What does it mean to own anything anyways, right? It's part of this game, this shared idea. And if we live in a society that is where we're increasingly lawless and we don't have rights, if we live in a society where power is increasingly in the hands of private or public, either way, corporations that don't have the checks and balances that our American government purports to have, right? There's not even an illusion of a democracy in Meta. There's no due process. I've just been excommunicated, no due process. They don't need to have a reason. I'm just kicked out, right? And this really does not only affect me emotionally and socially, but financially and existentially. This may actually be the tipping point between me being able to have kids or not, right? Or at least having a family and having children of the caliber that I was hoping to be able to, right? This is serious amounts of power differential or asymmetry, right? This is serious lack of power in the hands of the individuals, and there's no real recourse. And these corporations are already extremely large, and they're going to get larger. We are in the advent of artificial intelligence, and this is going to rock the world economically and socially. And it's important to spend some time considering considering the implications and what we should do about this. So some silver lining is that I already consider the time that I spend on Facebook and Instagram to mostly be useless, unhealthy, and toxic. So them kicking me off has the upside of them forcing me back into the realer world and into more healthy things. Like this weekend I did yard work, took care of a lot of chores, built some shelves, unpacked some boxes, and now I'm on my way to North Carolina to check out the different cities and suburbs and rural areas to probably move and raise children here. Now, I can and will continue to attempt getting my accounts back, mainly for the sentimental value, but the most acute need is for my ability to post on Facebook Marketplace and be able to rent my rooms. It's possible that I can make a business account and go ahead and regain that activity and then do whatever mourning I need over whatever sentimental attachment I had to the decades-old profiles and friends that I have now completely lost contact with and can never get back. But yeah, so I will continue to take action to try to get the profiles back, and I will also see if I'm allowed to, or one way or another, I need to get a Facebook Marketplace. I need to be able to post on Facebook Marketplace. There's a lot of potential interesting upsides to things, to loss, right? There's a new space created, right? In this case, one of the silver linings is that it cuts me off of these things that I was wasting time on, these things that are toxic addictions that, ideally none of us would really be spending time on, but I get that that's where a lot of us think we're getting our social contact. Another upside to this is I can't let myself be completely financially ruined, right? So as tenants move out, and one is moving out, and I need to get these rooms rented, I must find alternatives, right? So even if they are less good alternatives, I need to do something, right? I will not simply choose total self-destruction. One of those alternatives I've been considering for a while, and it's, again, not the best option. The best option is for me to be able to use Facebook Marketplace and place tenants quickly at high rates and not pay fees to a property manager, but getting a property manager frees me up from living in this godforsaken place that I keep living in, so that I can personally manage these properties. So again, there can be so many silver linings to loss, and in this case, the loss of my Meta accounts could lead to a lot of good things. And in the interest of keeping this somewhat short, I will go ahead and close with, this is absolutely absurd. Meta clearly makes no attempt to make it fair or easy to, there's no justice here. There's no explanation given for why my accounts were suspended. There's no loyalty, the fact that I've been using their tools, their toys for decades, doesn't matter. There's no appeals, there's no due process, there's no evidence, no one's looked into this, there's no way for me to appeal, no way for me to review, and there's no way for me to get in contact with them. So Meta is a terrible and terrifying company, if only for this reason alone. They are absolutely not for you. End of story. They're not. They're absolutely not. We know this, right? They're here to farm your attention, and now they're one of the front runners in AI, and this doesn't look good. So I would encourage you, and even if I get my accounts back, to steer clear as much as possible. I will be getting off of WhatsApp and shifting over to Signal, so on and so forth. These are a long time coming shifts, and I encourage us all to make these shifts away from these sort of dangerous places where we are powerless to avoid what's happened to me, and in other ways micro powerless. There's an increasingly unfortunate cohort of otherwise capable human beings who spend countless hours just sitting on their social medias and accomplishing nothing for themselves, let alone the world and their community. These are terrible things, and this is not a good trend. It's not a good trajectory. You don't want to be a part of team do nothing, addicted, and powerless. That said, Meta has blocked all my accounts. If you can help me in any way, I would appreciate that. Thanks. Take care. Bye. Hit that sub button. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.